Welcome back to Chat with Tessa, guys. It's still the property series. And if you want to find out about the previous videos in this property series, you can play this playlist later and watch from the first video that I uploaded regarding my property purchasing journey. So yes, one is done and we're trying to get the second one going. And first of all, I want to say there are good news, okay? Good news, that means it has been approved. Yay! Guys, if you want anything in life, you must just fight for it. You must fight. I appealed and the bank reviewed and they were like, okay, we'll give you the money. But to be honest with you, my happiness was so short-lived. And it was short-lived because they came back with conditions. So the first home loan, I paid it up, but I didn't cancel. And the reason why I didn't cancel was that I was hoping that I can still use that money from the first home loan to sort of help me in the second property buying journey, because this property is more than double the price of the first one. But the bank was like, no, we approve your loan, but we're only giving you 70% of the money that you are requesting to purchase the property. And you also have to cancel the previous home loan. Yeah, we can see you paid it up, but now we need you to cancel it, meaning that you now no longer have access to that money. So before I could go back to that first home loan, because it's a flexi one where I can just transfer money between my transactional account and that home loan, and they're saying we need you to cancel it so that we can take all our money and let it be ours, and then you have no access to it. And secondly, we're only giving you 70%. 70% sounds like a lot, but it's not, because now I need to go and find over 500,000. Some people were like, nah, Tisa, you know what, rest, mama, rest, it's okay, wait, it's okay, another time, other opportunities next time. I'm like, no, now this one. So this is what we are going to do. If your home loan is only partly approved, so maybe 50% or 70% or 80% is approved by the bank, what you can do is, which is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do that tomorrow, okay? What you can do is get an addendum drafted by the lawyers, right? And have this addendum state that you will be able to come up with the balance, of which my balance is that 30%, which is over 500,000, right? You'll be able to come up with that money in the space of 3, 4, 5, 6 months. But you need to then assess your finances and be realistic about how much time you would need in order to save up for that balance, right? I'm going to need 5 to 6 months, right? And you don't pay that balance to the seller. That balance is paid to the lawyers. The lawyers keep that money safe for you guys, okay? Throughout this whole process of purchasing the property. Then later on, that money gets transferred to the seller. But this transaction doesn't happen between you and the seller, okay? So if the seller is not in much of a hurry, you can talk to them, negotiate with them, and say that this is what the bank has approved, and the balance, I'll be able to come up with it in the space of XYZ months, right? So can we sign this addendum that then gives me time to come up with this money? If they're okay with that, then it's fine. And luckily, I have sellers that are not in a hurry. They're selling, yes, but they're just not in that big of a hurry. So they are willing to sign this addendum. We're going to get it drafted soon. And even the terms of that addendum, I'll come back and tell you guys what are the key things that should be in it. I've signed an addendum like that before with the first property, where I only needed X amount from the bank, and the other amount was going to come from my savings because I was so diligent. I was saving so much money. So I was like, nah, I don't need the full home loan. I've got this. So I also had to sign an addendum that stated that I would be paying that balance. And then when I paid it to the lawyer's account. They kept it in a trust. And then when the whole sale process was over, they then transferred it to the sellers, not me giving the money to the seller and we go and sign affidavits at the police station. Please, guys, don't do things like that. So if your loan is not fully approved, don't despair. Go back to your seller, state that, you know what, this is what the bank has come back and said. Can we revisit our agreement and let us have it down on paper? Let's have the addendum drafted, which is what I'm going to do. Now, how am I going to raise the money? Yo, risks, ne? So, I know my finances. I know that I have investments, and I know the value of my investments, and I know which things that I've invested in that are more long-term or short-term. So those things that are short-term, I'm going to sell that off and take the profits and the initial amount that I've invested and put it towards this over $500,000 that we need to raise. So on my easy equities, there's something that I'm definitely going to be selling and taking some money from that. And I'll show you guys all of that in the next video, where I show you like, okay, when do you disinvest? How do you disinvest? And when do you get your money? Okay, because that's one of the things we want to know when we invest in stuff, that how do I get my money back? Do you actually get your money back? This will be the first time I take money out of my investments. Ever since even that last property, I had to take money out of my TFSA. Ooh, what a mess. So to Mina, I always need to disinvest something. Anyway, so the previous video, we spoke about the offer to purchase and the importance of it, right? Once all parties involved, meaning the seller and you, have signed the offer to purchase and you've sent it to the bank with your application, and they're like, hooray, green light, we approve your home loan, what they're going to send you is what they call an approval in principle letter, right? That letter is like a trailer. It's like, you know, when you watch a movie, you want to watch the trailer first to see what, okay, how's it going to go down here? So they're going to send you that approval in principle letter that's going to show you that when they give you that final offer, this is more or less how it's going to look, okay? So the approval in principle will show that, okay, we've approved X amount. It might be 100% of the bond amount, which is great. It might be 70% like me, or 80% or 50%. Part of the reason why I was given 70% of the bond amount is also because I'm abroad. So if you're a South African that's working and living abroad, they might not ever approve 100% of the requested amount. They might, in terms of their policy, because every bank has its own policy, they might approve 70% or 50% or 80%, right? This bank has decided to approve 70%. Okay, so the approval in principle letter will show you how much interest they're going to charge you, over how long, and all of that. The period, you determined that in the application. I chose, okay, I can't tell you guys that because it's a security risk to say certain things. So let's take, for example, you choose that you want to pay it up in 5 years. That approval in principle letter will show how much you would need to pay per month in order to have this loan paid back in 5 years, and how much interest, and all of those nitty-gritty things. One of the nitty-gritty things that they added in there was that, mama, you must cancel your home loan, your first home loan. And I was like, guys. But anyway, so that's what you're gonna get. The approval in principle letter is not the final approval, okay? It's not the final approval. They still need to go and do the property valuation, of which you don't have to ask them anything. As soon as they've approved you in principle, they're already gonna talk to the evaluators to go and evaluate the property. Once they come back with a green light as well then they'll send you the final quotation. Now this final quotation, they'll be like, we're giving you 5 business days to decide and sign this and give it back to us, of which they gave me 5 days. And I had to think and think. I'm like, okay, will I truly be able to come up with the rest of that 30%? Can I really do this? How am I going to do this? And that's when I had that discussion with my parents, like, can we do this? Should I sign this? And then we're like, okay, we're in it together. We're going to do what we need to do in order to raise this money, okay? So then I signed it and I sent it back to the bank. This approval in principle letter, ne? You need to, not approval in principle. Now this is the quotation. Now this is the movie. Remember, the approval in principle letter was the trailer. Now this is the movie, and the movie is longer than the trailer, right? You must read the T's and C's here. This is legally binding, okay? This is an agreement between you and the bank. So you need to read the T's and C's here and understand what it is that you're signing, right? The English is not too deep. We can actually go through it. So let me know, guys, in the description box. Do you want us to go through this quotation from the bank? If you want us to, just type there in the description box. I mean, the comment section, and let me know if you want us to go through this. The English wasn't that deep. I understood it, and then I signed. Fine. Okay. Now we need to get the ball rolling. The bank will then contact their attorneys, the bond attorneys, and tell them that, yo, let's start this process, and they will contact you, of which mine haven't contacted me, but the contact information is actually in this quotation as well, so you can also make that first step and initiate communication with them, of which I need to get on top of that and do that. So what are the takeaways here today? The takeaways are, do not despair. Number one, do not despair. If the bank comes back with a approval that is not 100%, just go back to the seller and say, this is the approval from the bank. They've also evaluated the property, fine, but this is their approval, right? And in order for me to come up with the balance, it will take me X amount of time. So can we sign an addendum drafted by the lawyers that states that I will come up with this money and I'll pay it into a trust via the lawyers, and over a certain period of time, right? So this quotation is also valid for, like, it's not necessarily valid for 12 months, but if this whole process takes longer than 12 months, the bank said that they actually will then assess my credit score again and my affordability and all of that, just to check, is this person still employed? Do they still have money for this thing? And whatever. So they might revisit this agreement in 12 months. So that's fine. We still have time, right? So because I don't have enough money, that means that my process will definitely take a little longer. So you don't have to give up just because the full amount was not approved. Just go back to the seller. Some sellers are willing to wait because they understand that approvals are hard to come by. Not everybody just gets approved for a bond, right? So maybe other people are also being approved with a lower percentage than 100%, okay? So get the addendum drafted, and when you get the addendum drafted, have both parties sign the addendum and start putting money away to cover that balance, which is what I need to do. So no more spending. All right. And then remember then that you will receive, after your credit score has been run and all of that, you'll receive an approval in principle letter, which is like a trailer, it just shows you more or less what the whole bond process is gonna cost you, okay? And how much you might be paying per month in your debit order, right? Then when they do the evaluation, you'll then get sent that final offer, which is a quotation from the bank, and you'll have about 5 days to sign that offer, send it back to them, and then the ball starts rolling, right? So in the next video, guys, we're going to talk about me disinvesting. Now you know why I'm disinvesting, right? Now you're gonna know how much I'm gonna disinvest, how am I gonna choose, or do I take out this, do I take out that, when do I get my money when I disinvest? I'm going to disinvest first from my easy equities, of which a lot of you also have easy equities accounts. So maybe you'll find that useful on how to disinvest on easy equities and more or less how long it takes for you to get your money, and like how do you choose, at what time do you disinvest, etc, etc. So now the journey is to make up this amount that I need, that the bank said they're not gonna cover, right? That 30%. But also it's a blessing in disguise in a way, because that means that I've already paid 30% of the value of this property, right? So only left with the 70%, but yes, there's interest and it might take longer. But if I could tackle 30% quick, fast, now, even the other 70%, I can just keep that momentum going. So I don't think I'm gonna approach other financial institutions and still like keep. It's fine. This 70% is fine. I'll just keep saving. So thank you guys for watching and joining me today on Chat with Tessa. First of all, I would like for you to share the video with somebody that you think it will help, right? Because it's all about helping people within our community. That could be your friend, your neighbor, your colleague, and whatever. That's the main thing. If you like, you like. If you comment, you comment. I'll appreciate it. Thank you. Nakansa. Goodbye. See you on the next one.